And you'll see right where my lashes end, it's still really light there. I want that light color to carry as far past my lashes as makes sense before we connect that lower lash shadow with that crease color. Well, spring is upon us, which means we have spring cleaning, we have yard work, we have gardens, we have planters, there's a lot to do. So we wanna do those things and still have a few minutes to get ourselves together, but we don't have as much time as we used to. So I'm gonna share with you my fun, quick weekend look that just takes, I don't know, 8 or 9 products. You can do this in, I'll say 10 minutes, maybe 5 once you get used to it, and minus my talking, 10 minutes at the most. So if you want to see how I put together my fun, simple signature weekend look, then let's just jump right into it because we've got things to do. Now, this look, you guys, really can be done in 5 minutes once you get the process down. Again, minus my talking. This is my go-to on the weekends. I just like something fast, kind of a natural look, but just as I took a little bit of time and didn't go out of the house looking like this, which is not good for anyone. I like to start with a little bit of moisturizer. This is the Collagen Moisture Filler by L'Oreal. And I just like to put that all over my face to really make sure that my skin is hydrated. I already have on some sunscreen and that has been absorbing into my skin. I really like to make sure that I apply, I'm gonna do a little bit more just because I feel like I didn't get enough. I like to apply this underneath my eyes. Now there is a fragrance-free version of this, which is the one I have. The other one does have a little bit of a scent to it. I don't think it bothered me, but I just didn't like the idea of having fragrance in a product that I was just gonna put that close to my eyes. So if you are looking for a good moisturizer that is cost effective, I think the whole thing is $9, but you don't like fragrance, this does have fragrance free. First thing I'm gonna do is grab the Super Stay by Maybelline. And when I'm in a hurry like this, I just take the drop and put like maybe 2 drops, no. And when I'm in a hurry like this, I will just take the droplet and add however much foundation I want. And then I will real quickly go around my face and start with the foundation out in the outer areas of my face and then bring it in. Where we carry the most texture and the most movement in our more mature face is right through our eyes, obviously, and then around our mouth. So you want the least amount of product there, but you want enough to give you the coverage. So that's why I start with my foundation on the perimeter of my face and then work it in towards the center so that I get the least amount of product in those high movement areas. And because this is my everyday weekend look, I take what's on my brush and go into the hollows of my eye, inner corner of the nose, and I will go right underneath my eye just to give me that little bit of coverage, and then I'll add a touch of concealer there, but not very much. Because I don't want a glam look, I really just want a, I woke up like this kind of a look. Which the older I get, that takes a lot more work than it used to. But that's okay, it beats the alternative. Not only do I love the sheer to medium coverage that you get from this foundation, but the finish is just such a really pretty natural glow. It's not satin, it's not matte, it's just in between. It's, like I said, it's just a really pretty natural, my skin just looks really healthy kind of a glow, which I don't think I can ask for much more than that with any skin, old skin, young skin, healthy skin, dry skin. It's just a beautiful finish. For concealer, I'm using the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I did go up a color, you guys. I was using 0.5C and I found that to be a little light. It's probably fine in the winter, but as we go into spring and summer, I should have started with this one, and this is 1N. I'm gonna apply a little bit on the back of my hand. I don't want to use a lot of concealer. I really just want to lighten up the hollows under my eye where I tend to carry a little bit of darkness. Some part of it is skin, part of it is shadow from my under eyes being a little hollow. That's why I want a little bit of a concealer to not only conceal, but to also brighten that area that already looks a little bit, look at the difference. That already looks a little shadowed because they're more hollow. So I just want to brighten up that area. Again, real thin coverage. I'm not trying to do anything other than give a little bit of brightness to that under eye area. And then I will take what's left, and this is an important part of this look, take the rest of the concealer and go right on top of my eyelids, lash line, corner to corner, all the way up. So the whole eye area is covered with concealer, which makes applying the concealer so easy because you just go like a raccoon around the whole area of your eye. Next, I'm grabbing a liquid blush. This is Hope by Rare Beauty. Also putting that on the back of my hand. I just do this really quick. Pick up your blush brush, add that blush right to it, and I just dot it. I love applying a liquid blush this way, you guys. I just feel like it gives the prettiest magical look of color. If you've ever seen people on TV and you're like, gosh, how does their blush just look like a natural flush? It's because it's done this way through almost a diffusing process by putting it on your hand, picking it up with a brush, and then just lightly tapping it onto the skin. Now, when it comes to blush, I go right on my cheekbones, a little bit underneath the center of my eye, but that's about as close to my nose as I bring it. And then I will take it all the way up into a little bit onto the temples. And then I'll go back to my foundation brush and just go around the edges of that blush so that it is more of a blurred line between where that blush starts and stops. Really pretty, right? Now for the eyebrows, this is a quick process as well. Again, this is my weekend look, so this is the fast part. I just take this, any brow pencil, I just happen to pick up the Anastasia of Beverly Hills today and create the brow that I no longer have. I have it, this is in color taupe, and I just make quick little straight lines across the top and the bottom so I get the outline that I want, and then I'll just go back in and fill it in with little strokes. I spend more time on my brows in a normal day-to-day than I do on the weekends, but I don't really need fancy brows with this overall, you know, light weekend look, which is what I love about it. Now you can do your brows however you want. I just find that drawing straight little lines in the outline give me the shape that I want. Making sure that the end of my eyebrow doesn't end down, but that it ends almost out. And faking an extra little, I don't know, finger's width or whatever, because it's a little short these days. And then I'll add a little extra in the front. Comb those up so that they look like actual brow hairs. This is such a fun time of the year. I'm really excited this weekend because I'm gonna go and get some plants for the planters and, you know, some flowers and stuff, and then put those in the front of the house. I love looking at all the spring colors, all the Easter colors, the pastel yellows and blues and greens and purples. It's just such a pretty time of, it's a very colorful time of the year. Next, I'm going to pick up a small tapered fluffy brush. This is the Angie Hot and Flashy A504 brush. And I'm going to go into my Natasha Denona Glam palette. And I'm going to pick up this color right here, which is Crease. And I'm going to put that color on the tip of my brush. I don't want that color on the side of the brush because as I go to put it in the crease, if there's powder on the side, being the top or the bottom, then when I go to put it in, I'm going to deposit color all around in my crease, which I don't want. I want the color right only in that crease. And one of the best ways to avoid a bigger mess than you want is to be sure that if you want precision on your eyes, you just put that powder right on the end. Now I want to give a really soft natural eye, so I'm going to start with a soft crease line, and you'll notice that the outer edge of that line goes out and it doesn't end down in that eye socket. And that helps me give a little bit more depth or width to my eye. Not depth, width, which is what I'm going for this soft look. And then I'm just gonna softly bring it to about where my eyebrow starts, but in the socket, not up here, but right here. And I like that crease color because it's just a soft, neutral brown, not warm, not cool. It's just enough to help give some shape to your eye socket and pull out any of the colors that are in your eye. So it just breaks up that concealer look that we put everywhere from our brows to our lashes. And that's really what I like to use that crease color called Crease for. So a little bit above the brow bone into that socket, but not too far. And then blur out any lines so there's really nothing showing Can't see where a line starts or stops. And again, you'll notice that on my eyelid, that light concealer carries all the way underneath that dark color. It does not stop in the corner. So you want to bring that light concealer all the way out and then have the concealer meet it up above, not down in the corner at the lashes. And that really just helps to open up your eyes a little bit. Next, I'm gonna grab a small pencil brush and I'm going to pick up this color right here, which is Smoke. Again, putting that color right on the tip. For this, I'm gonna go under my eye. So I just wanted to find a shadow that was one shade darker than what I put in the crease. So if you have a different palette, just find a shade. If you used pinks up here, use one shade darker under your eye. If you used tans like I did, just go one shade darker for underneath your eye. Because we're just wanting to give a little bit of shape. And you'll see I'm putting that shadow right on the lash line. Not trying to go underneath it, because as I've aged, I don't need anything that gives my eyes the appearance of dragging down. I just want to give a little bit of a shape to the eye. And then I'll pull that out so that it meets that top crease line that we added earlier. But again, you'll see right where my lashes end, it's still really light there. I want that light color to carry as far past my lashes as makes sense before we connect that lower lash shadow with that crease color. So you don't want to connect those in the socket, you want to connect those outside of the socket. Quickly curl your lashes if you want to. Then I am taking an eyeliner and I want to use brown since the majority of my color story today is brown. This is the Smashbox Violetta. Love these ones. And I'm going to go on this outer corner right at the upper lash line and draw a liner so that you can see it, but then I'm going to slowly bury it into the lash line at the halfway mark. This just gives a little bit of a lift to that outer lid area. Just like that. Then I'm going to take that same liner and go underneath, right on the lash line in that outer corner, and carry that all the way at the lashes. So when you're underneath, you're doing the whole length of the lashes. And then when you're on top, just that outer half at a little bit of an angle and then burying it in the lash line. So on the upper side of the lash line, outer corner, bury it into the lashes at the halfway mark. Flick it out if you want. And then right at the lash line and carry that to the lashes. What that does when you go underneath the lash line and really push that eyeliner into your roots of your lashes is it just gives the appearance that you have thicker lashes. Now, if you have lash extensions or you wear false lashes, you may not need to do that underneath the lashes and kick up the liner. I just like it because it gives my eyelashes a little more of a full fluttery look. And I'll just coat it with a coat of Fireworks Mascara by Maybelline. Now I'm putting this on in black. If you have black and brown mascara, a fun tip is to apply black mascara to your upper lashes and then the brown mascara to your lower lashes. I mean, you guys, I swear by this mascara. Can you see the difference between those two lashes with just one coat? And I only do one coat on the weekends because there's just really no need. I'm not going for a glam look. Now this may be a glam look for some of you. For me, this is definitely a toned down weekend look. That's what I love about makeup and personal expression is you can just, it's like fashion, right? You can do whatever you want and create your own style, and there's no rules that says you have to wear makeup this way or you have to wear, that's not a no makeup look. It's whatever you want it to be. And then to finish off the look, I picked up a new lip gloss the other day. This is by e.l.f. This is the color, it's your mauve. Oh, you guys, it goes so good with browns like this or taupey colors, and I have been loving it. It's not like the new Maybelline Lifter Gloss that gives you a little bit of a plump, but it does keep my lips hydrated most of the day, and I do reapply it after I've eaten, so I should say it keeps my lips hydrated in between eating, which in fairness, some days that's several hours and others it's like less than 20 minutes. It just depends on the day. But I love that. Even though it's called It's Your Mauve, it's more of a, I find it to be more of a mocha color. Don't you guys think? I mean, I'm not sure how it's coming across in the camera, but in the mirror, it's definitely a mocha color. And that is my look for the weekend. It's quick, it's kind of a mocha look. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit of bronzer here, you could. I'm not gonna do that. I'd like to keep my weekend looks pretty simple. And this is a pretty simple look for me. Again, everyone's opinions of simple makeup is different, but I think it's, minus the moisturizer, it was 8 products, so that's pretty good. Let me know what you guys think of this look. If you do a look similar to this in the weekend, what does your weekend look like in comparison to your day-to-day week? I'd love to know how many steps you have in your weekend look. And that does it. That's a quick way to get ready for your weekend, whatever you have planned. It says, I put myself together, but I didn't try too hard. At least that's what it says to me. I know everybody's opinion on makeup is different, as I've stated before. Well, that does it for me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and more importantly, I hope you enjoy your day. I'll see you in just a couple days. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.